The Middle Ages are considered the golden age of astrology, when the astrological doctrine even penetrated the Vatican, and several popes, such as Sylvester II, became interested in astrology. It is therefore not surprising that at the end of the 10th century, this pontiff cultivated not only astrology but also alchemy, and in his house an astrological print reproducing the planetary system could be seen described by Ptolemy, and which would dominate the West for a long time. The Earth at the center of the universe, surrounded by 9 concentric spheres, representing planets and constellations. The old doctrine of man as a microcosm, replica of the macrocosm, image of the universe, dominated the minds of the time. Saint Hildegard of Bergen, a famous mystic who lived in the 12th century, said, "Man has heaven and earth within him." Other important figures such as Saint Bonaventure, in the 13th century, made reservations about astrology. For him, all of nature is a symbol, a representation of God, including astrology. Many Christian priests openly practiced the astrologer's trade, such as the Flemish Augustinian monk Luther Rothschild, who lived in the late 14th century. He was advisor to the Duke Jean Berry and the Duke of Burgundy, and had an enviable career as an astrologer. Not only was he adept at making horoscopes, he constructed an animated model of the zodiac with the planets, powered by a sophisticated clockwork mechanism. During the Renaissance, astrology enjoyed great prestige among priests. Several popes not only consulted astrologers, but were actively involved in the science of the stars. Therefore, all the edicts and bulls condemning astrology were useless, as well as the edicts promulgated by the Roman emperors, since Tiberius, against the science of mathematics. Sixtus IV and Julius II were astrologers. The latter was known to have consulted an astrologer to choose the most favorable date for his coronation. Boniface VIII had the astrologer and alchemist Arnold de Villeneuve as his private physician. Leo X, John de' Medici, Pope from 1513 to 1521, who succeeded him, took a group of astrologers to the Vatican with the mission of advising him during his reign. Popes were also a frequent target of astrologers' predictions. Ambrogio Varese de Rosate, astrologer of Ludovico the Moor, predicted death to Innocent VIII, whose papacy began in 1484 and lasted until 1492, which happened a few days later. His successor Alexander VI, Pope from 1492 to 1503, of the Borgia family, was more a Renaissance prince than a religious one. His sympathy for astrology and magic was so evident that he had the famous frescoes made in the Borgia apartments of the Vatican, where astrology has great prominence. Painted by Pinturicchio, these frescoes show 12 Sibyls and 12 Hebrew prophets. In addition to Hermes Trismegistus himself, the zodiac, the 12 prophets and scenes from the life of the Virgin. Paul III, the first pope of the Counter-Reformation, often relied on astrological help and consulted the stars to determine the hours for his consistory. His accession to the throne of Rome was predicted by the astrologer Lucas Gauric, who was awarded a bishopric in 1539. Then Gauric, commissioned by the Pope, chose the most favorable moment to lay the foundation stone of the Church of San Pedro in the third restoration of the city. In the 17th century, Urban VIII, author of a bull condemning some aspects of astrology, protected astrologers who helped him in his political intrigues. He welcomed Morin to Rome and saved Campanella from prison so that she could draw horoscopes and advise him in his quarrel with the Borgia. Other popes, Leo III, Honorius III and Urban V were friends or protectors of astrologers. In the 16th century there were several condemnations of astrology by the Roman authorities. In the year 1563, the Commission of the Index Librorum Prohibitorum banned books on magic, sorcery and the various divinatory arts in their entirety. Despite this, many works on astrology were later published with the approval of ecclesiastical authorities, and priests and religious were also not prevented from cultivating astrology. In 1586, Pope Sixtus V condemned astrologers in the bull Constitutio Caeli et Terra, and in the same year Pope Urban VIII, in the bull Constitutio Inscrutabilis, would renew this condemnation. Even so, there was no effective measure of coercion by the Church against astrologers for carrying out this activity.